to Cheltenham, of course, the club that you're now at permanently. What was the selling point behind Cheltenham? What was that like being introduced to that new club at the time?
To be honest, it was probably the only offer I had.
Wow.
Country wise, I wasn't playing for Oxford. That's just the way it goes sometimes. You know, a manager fancies you, he doesn't, and there was no doubting that we had two really good centre backs playing in my position. You know, Rob Dickey, Curtis Nelson, John Messino's obviously is an experienced player, and he was a great man to be at the club. So it was just difficult to find a way in. Again, I thought I might have gone in the summer, but that opportunity was sort of stopped, and then I was playing checker trade games or whatever they were called then, and I think Michael Duff was there to actually watch another player, but fortunately for me, I had a good game. I think we were playing Tottenham under 21s or 23s. I think I scored actually, but yeah, he was there, and it came from that he was interested. And again, Cheltenham were having a really tough time of it, but for me, I could travel from Oxford to Cheltenham quite easily, and I was desperate to play. I knew obviously I was out of contract, so yeah, it's just like I said earlier on, that it's a roller coaster, you know, ride of being you're up here and then down here, and your goals change, or your goals change so quickly. And for me at that point, it was a bit of desperation that I need to go to a club and make it work. And obviously I was wary because of what had happened at Port Vale, but I got the feeling straight away that, you know, after speaking to the manager, Michael Duff, and I made the decision that this is gonna work.
Yeah, obviously that rest of that campaign that you joined in January, Charlie, you played pretty much every week of that campaign. Was that important for you in terms of you've not played a lot of games before that you then went straight into that Cheltenham side pretty much played every week?
Yeah, it was, and I remember. What was it? It was probably third or fourth game, probably third game for Cheltenham, that we got battered by Colchester away, 3-0, and we play a system. We play 3 at the back or 5 at the back, however you want to call it, and we were just all over the place. We weren't doing it right, and I was playing on the left side at the time, and you know, the effort was obviously there from everyone, you know, but it just wasn't working. And from my point of view, I knew it wasn't working. So I just made the point. I went to see him and I just said, listen, this has got to work for me. So you have to sit with me as long as it takes, day and night, training pitch, analysis room, whatever it is. Show me what I need to do, because I knew that I had to make it work, you know, for my own career. So, and to be fair, he's done that ever since. Before he was working out in the training ground, but even now, if I've got a problem, I can go to him and work it out. And obviously, we've spent 2 years working on it, and we've got good players, and since then, sort of the form table would say that we've been right up there. So it's been a great time.
Yeah, obviously the following season, COVID hit eventually, kind of halfway through. But before then, you were named in actually the League Two Team of the Year so far, as such. That must have been a really nice accolade.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, we missed sort of, I think it was like the last 9 games of the season, and we were, I think at the time we'd won 6 on the bounce, or maybe won 5 and drawn 1, so we were in a really good vein of form, and. Yeah, I mean, I was consistently playing, and I think we had the best defensive record in the league, and so there were a lot of things that went for me that weren't just about me. You know, I was in a really good team, and playing alongside, you know, good defenders, and the manager's really organised, and it had the same feeling of when I joined Oxford. You know, I knew that it was a place that was designed to be successful, even though historically the club hasn't had that much success. You know, they've always been sort of bottom half League Two team. So, but the manager made left us in no doubt that that had to change, and we worked hard on the training pitch, obviously, and he brought in, you know, good players, good loan players as well, and yeah, we just had a really good sort of recipe for success. And I think we caught a few people by surprise because of that. You know, people in the past obviously rolled up to Cheltenham and thought, well, we'll beat these easily, and they probably did. But yeah, we've managed to turn that around and become, you know, a bit of a force, a bit of a fancy team in the league, and we're enjoying that. But yeah, back to your question, to be named in League Two Team of the Year, it was great because that sort of, like I said, I'd probably since Chesterfield 4 or 5 years to get that again, that feeling of being part of a really good group and playing regularly, and it's everything you want as a footballer. So yeah, I was pleased with that.
Yeah, last season, of course, COVID hits, the league stops. It turns out that the league will be decided on, you know, PPG, and then of course you have to go again in the playoffs. Was it easy to, you know, get yourself in the right frame of mind to get going again for that playoff campaign?
Yeah, well, it was, like everyone says, it's a new experience. You know, nobody's experienced this, but obviously we were the first ones to experience it as a football team and footballers, if you like. We obviously outside the Premier League, but yeah, we'd obviously, like everyone else, spent so much time in lockdown, and then it was a rumour mill at the time. Everyone was saying, oh, well, if it's points per game, and then what was it, weighted, would have seen us promoted automatically or something because we had a game in hand. And, you know, we were thinking we could be popping a champagne at some point, and then quickly got told that it was going to be playoffs. So yeah, the manager made it clear again. We had a few of these meetings sort of on Zoom, and he just said, I don't want any excuses. You know, we'll do it by the books. Obviously, we ensured that everyone was safe first and foremost, and people had no doubts that was being done correctly. But yeah, we didn't want to feel sorry for ourselves, or we've been hard done by, or, you know, we deserve to go up and they didn't, or whatever, all this rubbish. It was just a case of, listen, we're here, get on with it, and give it a good go. And things were going so well.
Yeah, I mean, that playoff campaign, unfortunately for yourselves, you were beaten by Northampton Town. But in the first leg, you know, you won 2-0, you'd scored. Sum up that playoff campaign, you know, from your perspective.
A game of two legs, as it were. Yeah, we prepared properly. As we did, and we were confident. Obviously, there was a sort of conflict of styles. You know, we know that Northampton play a certain way. The manager is known for playing, you know, quite direct, and they had the players to do that. You know, Badane Oliver's obviously a big handful up top, and they play sort of for position rather than possession. So we knew it was coming, and we'd had 2 good battles during the season. I think we'd won 1 and drawn 1. So yeah, we knew it was a tough game, and we were well up for the game, and we actually survived an early scare. Obviously, they had a penalty early on, and Owen Evans on loan from Wigan, he made a great save, and he had a great game in that game. And then, yeah, we got ourselves ahead. Obviously, delighted to score any goal, which is rare for me, but to score in a game like that on television, you know, and family watching and everything. So, and then we went on from there, you know, got another one, and things were so positive. But by no means did we think it was over. You know, it's not like we were in celebrating thinking we were going to Wembley, and that's the reason for us getting beat in the end. It wasn't like that. It was just a case of on the day, in the second leg, I think they started so well. Again, it's sort of a common theme, whether it was me and my attitude going into certain clubs of having no fear. I think they had no fear. They had nothing to lose. You know, if they got beat, if they conceded another 2 or 3, then they were expected to get beat anyway. And it was probably the first time we had the expectation on us that season. You know, everyone was reeling off all these statistics of how we'd never conceded three goals in a game last season. We hadn't conceded more than 2 at home, I don't know, all season or whatever it was. It was all these great things that were in our favour. And they just started better than us. They physically dominated us, and obviously scoring early. And they were just on top, and we couldn't wrestle momentum back. And we gave away a couple of soft, really poor goals from that, and never looked like threatening. So, yeah, all in all, it was a nightmare, and it took a bit of a while to get over. But we made it sort of a bit of a mission for when we came back in this season to overcome that. You know, there was loads of stories that we could have held on to and excuses we could have held on to for that. And you know, there was other clubs, Notts County, I think, who reached the playoff semi-final and then got relegated the next season. I think Stevenage had been up there and then down there, and Mansfield the same. They lost in the playoff semi-final and then were right down there the next season. So we just said we didn't want to be that team. We wanted to learn from it and use it as fuel in a way, you know. And I think we've done that. I think we're at a very similar stage this season to where we were last season. But again, the expectations change, so people maybe aren't seeing it as such a great season this year, even though we're on track for doing what we were doing last season.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, bringing ourselves up to date to this campaign now. Cheltenham sitting 4th in the league. With all the hard work, you know, since that playoff campaign over the summer and then obviously during this season, is that a surprise, you know, all the good work you've been putting in?
No, I don't think it's a surprise. I think we're confident in the processes we go through. You know, we've got a good sort of core group of players who have been here the whole time, but the whole time since I've been here. You know, and it's, you know, we get to know each other, and you know, similar to what we had at that first year at Chesterfield, and when I first went to Oxford, you know, there was a group of strong sort of characters who would drive, you know, the standards, and you know, we're trying to ensure that sort of stands the test of time. But yeah, I think we've probably disappointed actually with a few of the results we've had. We've probably lost a couple more games than we did at this stage last season. And yeah, again, I go back to the word sort of expectation. I think people have sort of realised that we are a decent side, and they've got to actually think about things a bit differently when they come and play us. And some have, and some have caught us out, and we weren't prepared for it. Certain teams, the way they've played against us, and we paid the price. So yeah, we're just trying to keep the scoreboard going, if you like, and keep picking up results, and just keep trying to improve.
Yeah, of course, we have to talk about the FA Cup run, Charlie. Eventually ended to really, well, Manchester City. Sum up that FA Cup campaign.
Well, yeah, it was great. I missed the first game again off the back of the poor league result against Oldham. The manager made changes, and obviously I was gutted to miss out. You know, I've played a lot of games, and you just get that sort of addiction, if you like. You just want to keep playing. So I missed that game against South Shields, but then that got us a tie with Crewe, which in the second round. Which we knew was going to be a tough game. The manager at the time actually said it's a bit of a free hit, really, because he said, you know, again, the pressure's on them. And we knew from playing them the previous season in League Two that they were a good side who won't change their style of play. But no, we set up really well, and again, we had to go to the wire, you know, went to extra time, and we managed to see them off. And then you think in the third round, you could get a big side here. This is when it all happens. And obviously Mansfield was maybe a bit of an anticlimax. You know that it's a really tough game because it is. But yeah, so the carrot was still there, because you think, well, they are beatable, but you know, you've got to be at it, because Mansfield is still a good team in this league with good players. Yeah. So fortunately, well, we actually started really poorly. We went 1-0 down after 3 minutes. And then we sort of grew into the game, and again went to extra time, and the now famous Ben Tozer throw landed on Will Boyle's head, and he put us into the fourth round. So then you're still thinking, oh well, you know, you could get the big names now, and I think we're the first team out of the hat. So I think I've got to thank Peter Crouch for drawing us against Manchester City and getting us the coverage we got, obviously. It was a great experience. Obviously, the obvious bit without the fans and everything, but it was still great to play against that sort of team.
yeah, you spoke about obviously the long throw from Bentosa, Alfie May scoring. Charlie, be honest, did you really think you were going to go on and win it when Alfie scored?
Probably not when he scored, but probably 5 minutes before they scored the equaliser. I think
Yeah.
I was sort of in that mode of, believe it or not, and I said it to the lads, I said, you get into that thing where we were 1-0 up, so we were in a good position for us, and obviously we set up to play a bit deeper and be really compact and sort of have a good defensive structure, which we work on a lot anyway. And for me, I'm quite happy to do that.
Yeah.
But the difference was now we were 1-0 up, and it was a case of actually during that period, that sort of 75-minute mark, I was thinking, this isn't too bad. Like, you know, they're passing it in front of us. Yeah, we're working hard and concentrating, but it's not too bad. They're not creating anything. And then it was just like bang, bang, and out of nowhere, they're 2-1 up. And that's the difference. That's the quality. You know, the manager always says to us things like the old Manchester United teams, and they said about 30 time and stuff, and it wasn't 30 time. It was they just run the legs off you. You know, they just wear you down and wear you down. And Manchester City have done that. They've done that to some of the best teams in Europe, and they did that to us in the end. You know, they brought on, I think, Cancelo and Gundogan and players like that, and yeah, they showed their quality in the last 10 minutes, and that's when it counted.
I think Pep was pretty scared though, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, he probably was, because he probably can't help but think there's 10 minutes left, and if they lose this, obviously the headlines for them are awful, and those games are no win for City. You know, if they do beat us 6-0, then everyone says, oh well, they're expected to win. But if we beat them 1-0, then it's an absolute nightmare. Just as it is for us if we play, like when we played South Shields. You know, South Shields are a good side in their league, but if they'd beaten us, then it would have been an upset. And that's obviously what that's why the cameras are there. You know, that's why Gary Lineker and Shearer were there. That's what the FA Cup's about.